This one Ripple partnership could lead to $30 to $50 trillion on the XRP ledger over the next few years. This is a huge deal. This could lead to hundreds of dollars for the XRP price if all of this goes down like it's supposed to. We're going to talk about ARKX today. I'm going to give you a crash course, everything that you need to know and why this is impactful to you and me and all the XRP holders globally. So let's take a look. The UK's first regulated real-world asset exchange, custodian, and broker and registered crypto exchange, ARKX. Here is the ARKX co-founder CEO Graham Rodford discussing bringing financial institutions on-chain, the new real-world asset collaboration, and what it means for the XRP ledger. Listen up.
This new collaboration between ARKX and Ripple. What does it mean specifically for, all the XRPL users and developers here in the room?
Working with the traditional players is a challenge. So we've kind of gone down the route of build everything yourself. So we've got the custodian and the exchange, and the bit that was really obviously missing for us was the tokenization. So we decided to build our own tokenization engine, and within that we built the functionality we think is needed for securities. We've known the Ripple team for some time now, and we've always kind of liked the technology as well. So we've decided to implement it into our tokenization engine.
Okay.
What that means in terms of a product is everything we're doing is available on XRPL.
Everything that we're doing is available on the XRP. Also, today in partnership with ARKX and Aberdeen, we are excited to announce that the first tokenized money market fund on the XRP ledger with 16 trillion in tokenized assets projected by 2030. This milestone unlocks cost savings and settlement efficiencies by deploying capital markets infrastructure on the XRPL. And here is the news about that. It says XRP outperformed Bitcoin and other major tokens in the past 24 hours as regulated crypto broker and custodian ARKX unveiled a money market fund on the XRP ledger, a first for the network in collaboration with the closely related Ripple Labs and Aberdeen. ARKX has provided access to Aberdeen's US dollar liquidity fund in tokenized form on the XRP ledger and will allocate $5 million worth of tokens into our Aberdeen's Lux Fund, part of a larger allocation to real world assets on the XRP ledger. When this news was announced, XRP's price jumped 6%, touching a high of $1.49. But this is a big deal, especially when we get into some of the biggest partnerships and talking about this here in just a little bit. So we talked about the tokenized fund already. This could be a leader as more funds get added to the XRP ledger. This could be kind of a snowball effect down. And then you have Monica Long talking about how important this milestone is for Ripple and XRP. Also, you have this updated partnership list on Ripple's homepage. You can see in Europe here, you have ARKX here. You also have Modular Finance, TravelX, BBVA, BTech, Lemonway, and DZ Bank. A lot of stuff happening in Europe. You also have connections in Israel, South America. Here's Asia, Africa, India, UAE, and Australia. A lot of really great partnerships. And then I don't want to play this just yet. It says, congratulations to ARKX for expanding its fund offerings to include State Street, Fidelity, LGIM, available for tokenized real world assets on Hedera as well. You can see that ARKX is also working with Hedera. And then you also have the ARKX CEO, Graham Rodford, at Ripple Swell Conference that just happened actually, and says Graham Rodford had predicted that the XRP ledger could process up to $50 trillion by 2025. Guys, that's next year. $50 trillion by 2025. That would be, what? That would be insane.
What are your thoughts on the technology, aspect of that, and bringing on things like, CSDs into the equation? How do you make these things coexist, but how do you accelerate so you get more benefit?
Yeah, that's probably where I'm a bit more bullish on the adoption of these assets. I mean, we think every asset's going to be on chain. This technology benefits the issuer, the infrastructure, the investor for numerous reasons. So it's inevitable that this is coming. And you mentioned central securities depositories. And for those that don't know, like DTCC, Euroclear, they're kind of the books and records for a lot of publicly traded securities. And every single one of them, Euroclear, Clearstream, DTCC, these guys are looking at tokenization.
So the DTCC is the Depository Trust Clearing Corporation. They clear like $2.4 quadrillion a year in settlement of people. When people sell stocks and bonds in the US, the DTCC is usually what clears that. And so the DTCC has been looking to tokenize those assets for a long time, about 6 years. And it looks like that if ARKX were to start working with the DTCC to process some of that, you're talking about trillions of dollars a year processed on the XRP ledger. That's what we're hoping to get to here. And the team at ARKX are doing great work. What is the solution that could cryptographically prove that BlackRock gave permission to ArcX to tokenize their money market fund? Let me play this.
Archax are doing great work. What if there was a solution that could cryptographically prove that BlackRock gave permission to Archax to mint the things? Then there would be absolutely no doubt of someone buying something and tokenizing it. It's BlackRock and the tokenization of these money market funds, right? Because imagine that for a second. Imagine if someone knew what the public key of BlackRock was and they signed something that connected to Archax, and Archax produced these money market funds. That would be irrefutable. And so that's basically what we're building, is this general workflow system for supply chain, for sustainability, for asset verification, for Hedera, for enterprises from the ground up. And the really cool thing here is that while it uses the Guardian and it can interface with the Guardian, it would be able to interface with any other tokenization engine, and it would be able to interface and mint credits on other networks. And so it's an interoperable layer 3 that would be able to talk to different actors from across different networks and take data, get things signed off, obviously issue through Guardian or issue through other networks, and then produce assets. And so this is the big vision, is that how can we create a general solution that is a workflow engine that any enterprise, if they wanted to, could take off the shelf and to map to their supply chain or their sustainability or their emissions or whatever they need. And that's what we're basically building.
Guys, it's going to be interoperability between all of these chains, and ArcX is really going to be the meat and potatoes of all this, right? So it says, why real world assets and tokenizations will be dominated by only a few players. The UK's Financial Conduct Authority, also known as the FCA, the regulator responsible for overseeing financial markets and protecting consumers, has approved fewer than 10% of crypto firms applying to operate under its jurisdiction. The highlights of the FCA extremely strict approval process. ArcX, one of the few FCA approved firms, is leading the way in real world asset tokenization. In partnership with Ripple, ArcX leverages the XRP ledger to tokenize and trade assets. This positions XRP as one of the few crypto assets to meet the FCA's rigorous regulatory standards, right? If it's good enough for the UK government, right? It's good enough for the US government. It's good enough for the Australia's government. It's good enough for Japan's government. Guys, think about this, right? It's not going to be Bitcoin that is going to be used to tokenize all these assets. It's going to be XRP and a few other chains like Hedera that's going to really take the brunt of all of this tokenized value. The FCA's selective approvals, ArcX resilience on the XRP ledger, reveals the only small number of trusted players will dominate the real world asset tokenization space. That is what we're talking about. And here's the clip that you've seen 100 times on Twitter. But again, you have Graham Rodford now in 2 different places talking that he thinks that it could be potentially $30 to $50 trillion in 2025 on the XRP ledger. So they did this, I think last year was this chat, or earlier this year. He said 2 years, which is 2025 or 2026. But man, crazy stuff.
30 to 50 trillion, all on XRP, all trading on Artex.
Here we go.
Find my original projections, but the total market is 1.4 quadrillion, everything that's ever out there. And if you start looking across any of those asset classes, they're all starting to move on chain already. And the ease with which we've seen people interested in money market funds, tokenized treasuries, and those types of instruments, the support for stable coins, when you're talking about replacing cash, when I see DTCC, Euroclear, Clearstream, it only takes one of them to flip onto natively digital, and that's trillions of assets on its own that move. So, tens of trillions, I think we could see. And bearing in mind it's 1.4 quadrillion, this is still a tiny slice of a huge market. 30 to 50 trillion, all on XRP, all trading on Artex.
Here we go. $50 trillion. 2 years from now, Ripple, Twitter will replay the session.
I mean, listen, if you only have a few players, right, in any space globally, they're going to get the majority share of all the stuff because they're the only ones approved. ArcX is approved by governments all around the world, especially in the UK. So what happens when all of those stocks and bonds and derivatives and treasuries and things like that in the UK start to go on chain? Does that go on ArcX? ArcX and maybe a few others that are approved, right? They're going to get the lion's share. They're there first. They're approved. They're known by regulators. They trust them. 30 to 50 trillion on the XRP ledger over the next few years. What do you think is going to happen? Are we going to see that? Right? Is it possible? I like to think it is possible, right? Of course, regulation plays a key role, but we're talking about UK's government, not just the US here now. So, man, Could be really exciting over the next few years, guys. Stay tuned. I'll keep you up to date. I hope this video was helpful. If it was, please hit like and share with somebody. I really appreciate you. I'll see you next time. Bye.